What's up, YouTube? It's me, Kirby. You're watching another episode of Kirby Q, and today I'm seasoning my Gateway drum smokers. So I got everything set up off to the right, probably your left of me, and so I'm gonna swing the camera around, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with this process. Needless to say, you can't do a seasoning because you without cooking something, because you always feel like, well, I'm wasting coals if I don't put something on the smoker. So I thought I'd let it burn in for about an hour or so. I got a brisket in the butt that I want to throw on. According to the instruction manual, if you're doing a brisket, it should take you about 4 to 4.5 hours at 300 degrees to get it done, and a pork butt between 4 to 6, which is typical for my 270 to get them done in at a 300 degrees too. So let's get started with the seasoning process of the Gateway drum smoker. All right, over here. Okay, first thing first, I have some Pam that I'm gonna go ahead and spray it with. If you want to get creative, you got some peanut oil. What's it? Start from the bottom. If you want to get some peanut oil, you can use this some peanut oil, vegetable oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, whatever. If you want to get creative and do that, you can. Needless to say, I'm going to do the same thing for the other drums, so I'm just showing you what I'm doing for one. Alright. I'm just going to give that, it looks like it's pretty well sprayed down. Alright. Go ahead and pour the top on. Next, go ahead and put in some tumbleweed. Sorry for my big head. Trying to get those lit up. Now we'll go ahead and put it in there. All right, can go ahead and let it do what it do, and I'll come back when it's fully engulfed. Okay, as you can see, I got a pretty good flame going, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the grates in. Let me back you up, I'm sorry. I have the dampers wide open. I'm going to put the lid on. slide the lid on. Have all my dampers on wide open. Alright, so the intakes, the exhaust, everything's wide open. Let me take this off the stand. And I'm gonna start tinkering with them once this reaches about 300 degrees. When I'm gonna say 400, try to adjust the dampers then to see if it'll hold that, because once I put the brisket on, I'm expecting it to drop down some. Then that should hopefully put me in the 300 degree range. I'll say maybe 350. All right, YouTube, so I'll be back in a minute. Hopefully my face ain't all fat and stuff. All right, is that better? Is that any better, YouTube? All right, so I'll be back in about I don't know, I got a meeting to attend on Zoom, so maybe after that meeting I come back and adjust it. All right, I'll see you in a few. Alright, YouTube, one of the things that I normally will see for guys who cook with these at a competition, and I'll be perfectly honest, I do not know why they do it. So if you're watching this and you're a Gateway Drum Smoker cooker, you've had it for a while, they'll usually have a piece of aluminum foil wrapped around the handle. I don't know if it's to protect the handle or to help deflect heat. But as of now, I'm just doing it because, hey, everybody else is doing it. So, so that's why I'm doing this piece right here now. Just to, I don't know if it's to try to protect that little handle or what. But again, all the cool kids are doing it. Must be some rhyme or reason to it. So what I'll do is I'll put it on this one and leave it off the other one and see what difference does it make. Hopefully it's not a costly one. I think maybe one part of me is thinking maybe it gives them more of a grip. That's what it feels like. It gives you more of a something. It increases the grip of the handle. Maybe that's why they do it. Again, I'm not sure. We'll see. All right, YouTube. Alright, YouTube, as you can see, it got hotter a whole lot quicker than I expected. So I'm going to start dampening down. Right now I'm going to go to about a quarter of a gap on each of the intakes. And see where that gets me. All right, so I've adjusted the intakes. So let's see how long it takes to for it to make the adjustment. All right, I'll be back. All right, YouTube, I've got the temperature in about the range that I want it to be. So I've added 2 blocks of hickory wood down into it. I'm gonna put a, as you can see, I got a water pan that I'm gonna run today. Go ahead and put some water in it. going to do about a half the water pan. And I'm going to go ahead and put my brisket, put my other grate back on. Put my brisket on. Putting the flat over the water pan. Go ahead and put the point over the coals. Alright, so that's how I'm gonna run that. And let's do the same thing on the other pit. Alright, again, I'm going to place a water pan. Going to add some water. About a half a pan. Move it over to this side. Put my rack in. Here's the butt. You ain't gonna put it directly over the water pan for now. Alright, YouTube. I will bring you back in 2 hours. Well, to my disappointment, after, like I said, I had a meeting to go to attend, and so I've been on that meeting Zoom call for about an hour, so I come back and that's my temp. So I don't know what caused it to drop that low. Maybe I had the dampers too low. Alright, so taking the lid off, letting everything reignite, and we're going to try to see if we can get it back up. Alright, so that's here on the brisket one. So I'm gonna let it reignite. And this is the one, the pork butt. Now that's cool. I'm sorry, it's kind of, let's see if I can get zoom in better than that. So that's about 250, which is all right, but I wanted to keep it hotter than that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it rise up. Alright, I'll be back when things get up to temp. Alright, YouTube, it's the next day after the burn and cook and me cooking the butts and brisket, the butt and brisket, and so things got a little bit busy for me and I wasn't able to focus on continuing filming, but I thought I'd wrap it up with sort of a lesson learned summary of the cook. As I shared with you in the previous segment of the video, when I came back from a meeting, where both smokers had dropped temp, this one had really dropped temp right down to 150, and this one had went down some. I can't remember what it was, but you saw the clip. You know what it was. And so that caused me some issue and concern. Of course, simply to get the temps to rise back up, I simply opened the lids on the drums and allowed the oxygen flow to increase, the igniting the coals and causing the heat to rise on the inside of it. Once I saw the coals were reignited and flaming, I put the lid back on and adjust the dampeners accordingly. One of the things that caused me some issue and concern, and if you have a Gateway drum smoker, maybe leave me a response in a comment below. I noticed that I kept getting a lot of smoke coming out of the intake of this particular smoker, not so much as this one, but for some reason on this one I kept getting a lot of smoke coming out. Now I'm not sure if it was a result of the fat dripping down into the charcoal, into the area of the drum, and then the heat igniting that, then just causing like a little it wasn't necessarily a flame, but just causing it to sizzle and whatever, and then the smoke coming out of it. So that was an issue of concern for me. I don't know if it is a thing of concern. So that was one thing, smoke coming out of the exhaust. I had a lot of fussing in trying to get the temps to dial in. Of course, it's my first time using, and with any new smoker, that's going to be your challenge, is learning how to dial your temps in on it. Now, of course, you can always shortcut that learning curve and get you a Guru or some Stoker system like that, some type of electronic device, and just put it in there. But part of being a pit master, if you want to call it that, is learning how to control your temps on your various pits. So that's going to be a little learning curve for me, learning how to dial in my temps on these drums, especially in the next 2 weeks. No, two weeks. Yeah, my first competition is in 2 weeks. Urbana, Virginia barbecue gives back to be my first competition. If everything goes right, I'll be doing about 6 competitions this year. I know compared to some guys that's not a lot, but I ain't got that kind of money. So I'll be lucky if I can eke out those 6. But it'll be 6 competitions I'll be doing this year. Barbecue Gives Back will be my first. Going to the Interstate Barbecue in April. Then there's the next one would be in June. In June. No, I'm judging in June. In Covington, and I think it's in July. I can't remember. It's one in July, and then August, September. Then there's a break, and then Currituck, and it'll be the last one I do. So that'd be 2 in September, and Currituck. But anyway, back to what I said. So is managing my fire was the hardest part of that book. I bought a rack of baby back ribs that I threw on this smoker because this one had the cleanest burning fire on it. I put that up there, and I tried cooking them based off of I just flipped them. I put them on for 45 minutes on the back bone side. After 45 minutes, flipped them over to the meat side. And then after 45 minutes, flipped it back over to the meat side. And then I checked them to me. I thought the way they were looking, I went on and wrapped them for another 45 minutes. And at that point, it was kind of done to me. The flavor on the ribs kind of had a creosote taste to it. It wasn't a nice open pit flavor that you would get. I didn't like the way that the ribs turned out. Again, that could have been something I done wrong. I'll work on that. I did some legs. I didn't do a full competition trim on the legs or anything like that. Didn't inject But I just seasoned them and let them sit in the refrigerator to try to thin the skin out and put them on that drum. The legs turned out great. So I'm looking forward to doing a full trim and everything like that, the full competition process for legs and cooking legs on it. So I thought with just that simple way, if they turned out like that, then I think doing a full competition cook on it will really take it to the next level. The brisket turned out really good. The brisket turned out great, so I just got to manage the heat control in it, because it should have only took about 4 hours. I think it took me about 6 hours to finish up the brisket in this drum. But the flavor on it was great. I love the flavor that came off my brisket. The pork butt that came off it, I didn't get the I'm trying to think, did I taste it before I seasoned it up? By that I mean before I put the vinegar sauce and all that stuff on. I really can't remember if I snagged any piece of it. I can't remember if I snagged a piece off it, but nonetheless, the people who I sold it to, they loved it. But I couldn't tell what kind of flavor it had on it, because after I took it up, shredded it up, and sauced it, I divvied it up to the people who had purchased it and sent it out. What else? Oh, cleaning this thing. That's the next step. Of course, I got my ashes and stuff left in it from yesterday. So I need to figure out, I didn't get the little ash tool that Gateway Drum sells with it. So I need to figure out what's the best way to clean it, especially if there's grease and stuff in the bottom of it. I was talking to another friend of mine that has a drum like this. He had to recommend putting some type of oil soak, not oil soak, I forgot, something that soaks up oil, lining the drum with that, and that'll help with cleaning up. But you still got to scoop that out eventually too. Now again, if you have a Gateway drum and you use that stuff in yours, please leave me a comment in the comment below to let me know what's the best way to do it. I think for me, I got a shop vac that I'm probably just going to vacuum the ashes and stuff out. But what else? So I talked about managing the temps, the fluctuations, cleaning it out. That's about it on YouTube. That's my first burn and cook. What I think I may do this week, another day this week, is just do another simple burn. You know, you kind of, as I shared earlier, you kind of hate lighting charcoal and not putting nothing on it, but I'm gonna try to resist that temptation. Well, I guess if I do, maybe it'll just be a hot dog or a hamburger or something simple. But I want to go ahead and burn another fire so I can practice getting the temp, dialing in the temps manually with this, instead of before I resort to getting some type of electronic device to manage the pit. I guess in one sense, that's the barbecue purist in me, is trying to avoid all the technical gadgets for a barbecue. I mean, other than a thermometer, to check the temps on your meat, or Maverick or something like that, to see what your internal temps are in your smoker. But anything that help you to regulate the fire and all that other stuff is kind of what I'm trying to avoid having to do. I don't think it should be that complicated. To me, that's taking some of the fun out of it. But anyway, guys and gals, that is all I have for you today. Again, if you have any insights on Gateway Drum Smokers that you would like to share with me, leave it in the comment box below. And I look forward to reading your comments and the insights and experiences that you have to share. Alright, I'm Kirby. This is Kirby Q. Thank you for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, light your pits, fire for effect. God bless you. Have a great day.